Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and hands up if you've been looking forward to part 3 of Far Corner Farm. I know I have, my hand is up. But before we get started on today's video, I thought I'd show you something a little different. I was looking through Brick Nottingham's archives in the town hall, and I stumbled across some old marketing material produced by Far Corner Farm back in the 1930s. When they were trying to export produce around the world, and I thought you might want to see it. So let's start with that. Now you ask any of the old timers about the past, and they'll tell you all about Far Corner Farm. Yup, some say it's as old as the castle, others say it's even older. All I know is that it's been supplying Brick Nottingham with mighty fine produce, from swine to corn, for as long as anyone can remember. I guess you could say they've got a long tradition of quality at Far Corner Farm. Well, I'm sure whoever voiced over that quick commercial is doing a serious cringe right now, as I'm sure some of you are as well. But anyway, less said the better. Let's move on to today's builds, and as always I'll start with a few amendments provided by you. In no particular order, people suggested I raise the gate posts a little higher and square off the post on the left hand side, so I've done that, thank you very much. I've also added, this was one of mine, just some chopped wood in that little nook there, using those 1x1 tiles with the timber end. So I really like those, so that's a bedoing for me. I've moved the cat and rat scene just over to here because there's a bit of a space, and that was suggested just so we could see it a little bit better, but I think that's good. And the dog's just moved down there a little bit. I've added a bag for the vet just so she's got some supplies close at hand, and fortunately it's actually the same colour as her outfit and it's got a little red cross on it. That's a friend's bag, so that's a really good addition. I really like that actually, thanks for that. What else have I done? I've moved the pigs around a bit, and that is just so I can have space against that wall for a tree, because this area is looking a bit sort of low. I mean, the whole farm's a little low rise after all, but I don't mind that generally speaking, but it's a good place for a tree, so I've just made one here. Kind of a normal build technique, I've not gone crazy. 2x2 round bricks in the main, and then tree limb pieces, but with the extra leaves on to make it look extra bushy. So I'll be putting that in a minute. So thanks for that suggestion. A lot of people suggested I use the brand new Beekeeper on the farm, and I figure the farm's kind of really busy already. So what I'm going to do is save him and do a brick built beehive. And put that somewhere in the city. I'll probably do it on some of the rooftops, and then the bees from that can go and fertilise all of the flowers around the entire city and collect their pollen and nectar as well. So I won't be doing that one. But back to here, I've added just a very little sticker on here because I was going through stickers and just saw one kind of with a cow head on it. Not a really major one, but nonetheless, I thought I'd stick that on. And that is from 70812 Creative Ambush. So that's another one of mine. What else have we done? I've added a second owl over here. And I've decided to name those Twit and Twoo. So I don't know which one's the Twit, but nonetheless, I thought they were quite funny names for the owls. I've decided on a name for the horse. It wasn't any of your suggestions in the end, because I thought I'd go for a funny idea that me and Mrs. Hood came up with, and we're going to call him Croaky. And you might say, well, why Croaky? Well, it's because he's a little horse. Yep, tumbleweed there. Yeah, so that just is a play on words for those whose first language isn't English. And I've moved the hen house forward a little bit just so it can be seen even better, because I think we're going to use that space over there in the middle today. So that's a little one. I don't know if that's a bedoing or not, but I'll give you one anyway. Yeah, the hens needed names. I've used one that was a suggestion for Henrietta, And the other one is one of my names, and that is Layla. Layla. So a bedouin for Henrietta. And they're all the ones that I've done so far, but what we need to do today is quite a few more amendments and quite a few more builds. And what I'm going to start with, after placing that tree, is the crop circle in here. Now, there were loads of suggestions, and if none of them work out, what I'm going to do is abandon it, but I'm going to give it a serious go. And the best idea of those was to have a alien with a plank of wood actually making the hole manually. And I thought that was a really good idea because, I mean, it's just my sense of humour, really. You know, why would an alien use a fantastic beaming device or something like that to flatten crops when he could just do it on foot with an old-fashioned plank? So I'm going to get my last spare Alien Conquest alien and have him on foot, kind of flattening things, and then I'll probably like scatter a few random stalk pieces around in the hole just to make it look like he's been hard at work. So let's hope that looks good too. And here is the tree in the pig pen. I think that's looking pretty good actually. Gives them something to kind of rub up against and shield themselves from the rays of the sun, because we don't want our pigs getting sunburn after all. And it's kind of a facade tree in that when I made it circular, but I've pulled off all the back branches just so it can kind of fit more snugly against the wall. And obviously, like everything else, it would continue off into the wall. But I think it provides a good bit of height for that area and a nice bit of colour and texture as well. So that's really good. Glad to have that in. And for those of you that are bothered about the names of all these animals, I'm sure quite a few of you couldn't care less, but nonetheless, we didn't name that last pig, and she is going to be called Sausage, I think, continuing the theme of all of them being named after items of food. So on to the crop circle, and what I've decided to do is take, well, some of the advice that was given and actually put some of the soil or earth or dirt visible in the hole to make it a lot more of a contrast with the rest of the field. Some people suggested green or yellow tiles, but if you do that, it just really gets lost. And what I did have in dark tan was these quarter circle plates, and they do two jobs really. First of all, they give it a really defined circle so we can really see what's going on. And also I've put 3 of them down and filled in the fourth quarter with more corn plants. So it can be, you know, being flattened as we speak, as we watch. So I thought that that, especially from a distance, would actually look quite circular and might actually stop the comments of what's that hole in the cornfield. So for our protagonist, it really has to be an Alien Conquest alien. So I've got this guy with his plank of wood. He is one of the Alien Conquest aliens. I'm not going to use one of the ones I've been getting in recent hauls from the Space Police line or something like that, or even a new series minifigure, just because all of the aliens so far that are invading the space tower or flying above the skies of Brick Nottingham are these absolutely fantastic Alien Conquest ones. And I'll probably put the mixture of aliens that I've been getting more recently in a cantina scene at some point and have a little sort of watering hole for aliens somewhere in Brick Nottingham in the future. So he's got probably the best 3D head that Lego have ever made, in my opinion, and a plank of wood. And that was just off this sticker sheet, which is from Mia's Forest Adventure 41363. So I'm going to put him in the corn circle, and then I'm going to throw in a few of these loose stalk pieces to kind of give the impression that he's halfway through his job. We still want the circle to be very visible, so I don't want to put too many stalks in, but let's see how that looks. Well, okay, how does that look? The lime head of the alien definitely stands out from a distance. You can kind of see he's holding a wooden board. I've used a nougat coloured tile for that just to make it even more bold. And you can see a couple of the pieces of corn are being toppled and they're just leaning against their neighbours. So that's good. And then I've got a few stalk pieces, not too many, just to show that it's in progress as well. And although it doesn't look massively like a circle, I think when you do notice it and lean in and have a good look, it is apparent what is going on. So I think that's a really good outcome, actually. I'm very happy with it. So thanks for everyone's help on that one. I think it's really come together now. Shared bedewing for everyone. Now, the biggest area outstanding is probably this back corner. And I had been hoping to get rid of this curtain and get the new blind that is ordered but has not yet arrived. And I imagine that's because of these interesting times. But I think I'll have to press ahead now. So I'm going to add a combine harvester. And a lot of people suggested adding a combine harvester, but they are quite difficult to use. And that's just because they're so huge, which is very realistic, of course. The best example being 7636 combine harvester from 2009, which is very, very cool, but absolutely huge. I mean, that would fill a base plate all on its own. And, well, we just don't have room in my city for that. And then you'd probably need at least a few more base plates of field that it was harvesting to put it in. Anyway, now I'm just going to quickly segue to the vehicle of the day, because one suggestion was adding this set, which is rather fantastic, which is 60223 Harvester Transport. And I'm told this isn't a combine harvester. It's just a harvester, and it has to kind of be running alongside a tractor with trailer at all times, just because it will be basically cutting down forage for animals or something like that, and dumping it as it goes. So anyway, whether I've got that right or wrong, I don't know, but I didn't want to use that one on the farm, just mainly because it's green, and it will kind of get lost against the green background, but also because I think it looks great on its transport, to be honest. So I think that is really good on the roads of Brick Nottingham. And I might leave it on this bendy country road, or I might move it somewhere a bit more straight. But it is a good suggestion. So what harvester am I going to put in the corner? Well, you might remember the tractor that we added last time, this lovely red dilapidated tractor that was part of the Batman Scarecrow Harvester Fear set 76054. Well, there was actually a combine harvester with that set as well, ridden by Scarecrow, the baddie, of course, and it was covered in all sorts of neon green pieces and wouldn't be suitable at all. But what if somebody bought that and converted all of the neon pieces to kind of tone it down a bit and turn it into a modern day, or rather, not quite so modern, but at least this century, combine harvester? And here is the result. So as you can see, I've got rid of the great big green tank, which have had all of the bad toxic chemicals in. And I've got rid of the neon green kind of wheel here and so on. And I've added a pitchfork and a regular farmer. And I think it looks really good. The stickers make it look a little bit dilapidated. I quite like the dark tan colouring. And it's got the characteristic big front wheel, little back wheel and so on. And the fact that it's got these kind of big venting things on the back and wheels and so on doesn't really bother me. It might not be fully realistic. It doesn't have one of those sort of arms that comes out to fill a passing tractor. But I really like it. And one of the reasons I really like it is because... Ooh, his hat's fallen off. Is because it is actually kind of an automated set. I'll put that on in a minute. In that the actual blades turn. You see, when it goes round, that wheel turns the actual blades. And I thought that was miles better than the one on the back of the truck. And I guess it's similar to the one that is part of that huge set. But this is done, obviously, on a much, much smaller scale. So I just thought that that was a brilliant feature. Maybe I'm just easily pleased, or maybe you agree. But as is often the case with Lego, I don't think many of us really appreciate how clever some of the designs are just from the pictures. You kind of got to have the set in your hands and almost give it a trial run yourself before you can realise all that they have to offer. So anyway, that is a really good compromise, I think, on size. It's still pretty big. It's probably about, 16 studs wide or something like that. but that's a lot better than the 32 studs of that great big 7636. So, right, I'm going to get that with his hat back on, and then I'm going to put it in the far corner. And maybe when I've managed to get rid of the curtain, I'll be able to do a sort of facade field, maybe with the very edge of some sort of corn stalks or something like that, sort of wheat stalks, I mean, in order to sort of suggest that there's another field out there. But I don't have those pieces yet anyway, and they'd definitely get knocked down by the curtains, so I'll leave that for now. Cool. Well, even that one is a lot bigger than I kind of figured, in that it just fits in that corner, kind of wedged in. I think it makes more sense facing away from us rather than towards us. I didn't mention that those stickers that are on the big tank are actually moved from stickers from that large combine harvester, using my patented hot tea technique. So, yeah, I think that looks good. I think you can still see what it is. I think when we're against a white background rather than the curtain, you'll be able to see the blades of the combine harvester a little bit better. But it definitely fills that spot and leaves a little gap probably in front of it. I don't know if I need to put something there or not. Maybe just some bits of rubbish or farm tat machinery sort of lying around. And that brings us to this next area that's completely empty, the gap between the barn and the silo. And I kind of figured I could probably squeeze two things into here. When I was building this large milk tank and the water tank here, I was looking at all my cylinder pieces, and I had quite a few left over from the Toxic Eater's Toxic Meltdown set. And I used some of those with the stickers on for my toxic rail carriage, but I had quite a few left. So I kind of thought I could build another silo, maybe for chemicals, fertilizers, or maybe even petrol, fuel for all of the farm vehicles. And this is just on a temporary base, and it's, I don't know, it's quite interesting. Uses quite a few colourful pieces in this flamish yellowish orange, so I thought I might be able to squeeze that in, and I've kind of bridged the two together at the top, much like I did on that recent Octan train carriage as well, to suggest they might actually feed to each other or maybe just support each other, I don't know. So I think I'm going to try and squeeze that in that gap, another bit of colour and height. And a lot of suggestions I had were for an orchard. And I know this is going to really split my audience, but I've got a few of these very old Lego one-piece trees. And they're very sort of round and manicured and quite small, and that's why people don't like them. But I thought, well, if it was an orchard, wouldn't you have a lot of these trees kind of in rows? Because that's how they plant them. And if we sort of wedged some tile pieces that were coloured in all of the branches, then it might look like they are fruit trees. Now, the only tiles I've got any number of are actually pink, and this is the number of trees I've got, so I can use those three to stick in there, which does mean they've actually only got fruit on one side, but we'll only be able to see them from one side. So I was wondering if a row of kind of trees with coloured bits in would actually look good or not. I mean, there might be cherries, there might be goodness knows what, depends what part of the world we're in. In Nottingham, in real life, it probably would just be apples, pears or cherries, I suppose, but or it could be plums or something like that. Anyway, so I'm sure you'll tell me what you think about these, and I imagine most of you will say, no, we hate them, Robin. But I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to give it a go, put them in a line and see how it looks. Yeah. Well, our farm is getting even more full now. There are the tanks, and I kind of did those alongside the silo. I reckon while you're under there, you can probably fill up using the gap sort of between the legs. And there are the 5 trees. I'm going to call them plum trees, just a little bit different, in a plum orchard that might continue off into the distance, who knows. And it's a good bit of shape, little specks of a different colour as well. I'm sure a lot of people will hate it, will hate those sort of round bases on the bottom of those trees, but I figure that's the best place to use them if I'm going to use them at all anyway. And it does fill the gap, and, well, it's another little pattern, I think. So I quite like it, but I'm sure you'll tell me what you think, as usual. And I'm really liking this cornfield now, so I think that's problem solved. Really good. Yeah. So then on to remaining areas of the farm, and we've only got really, really small gaps left now. So I just thought I'd have a rummage around and see what little builds I could find to kind of put here and there. And I've got a couple of pumpkins, which I thought I could just mount it with a couple of leaves each, so they sort of got a pumpkin patch maybe. I've got these kind of tanks on the back of a dolly, just to be, well, maybe part of a cutting torch or something like that, I don't know. A workbench there for use somewhere on the farm. That actually came with that original farm set. What else have I got? I've got a nice sort of container there, but with a lid with some rosettes on, possibly for riding, maybe for riding the horse that is Croaky. An old bin, wastebasket, sort of trash can. Another one of those octane tanks with a wonderful printed tile on the top. They're really good, they are. And then I thought I'd get a wheelbarrow with another farmer pushing it. And he looks very grumpy and angry. But then again, he has got Harry Potter black hair. So maybe if I had that hairstyle, I'd be that angry as well. I don't know. And then I've just got a bag of these lovely sort of bushy pieces. Just to basically scatter, not loose. I'll attach them to studs, but kind of have them here, there and everywhere, and they're in that bright green, so they should stand out a little bit, just like the bright green on this tree does against the base plates. So I may not use all of that, but I will try and scatter some of it about. And then we better add the alien incursion that has landed this guy. Right, so I've added all of that actually. It all fitted in, including all of the green bits of vegetation. So I'll probably miss some out, but there's the barrel and the chest there. There's the pumpkin patch. There's the workbench there. Got some stuff here like the dustbin and the welding stuff. And there's the man with the wheelbarrow. And I've added more of the little bits all along here as well. So yeah, looking good. Looking very, very, very packed and stacked now. I think you'll agree. This farm is very full and I think pretty much complete. But where there are aliens, there have always been alien abductions. And alien abductions, as everyone knows, are a very, very frequent occurrence in real life. So I really should make an alien abduction here. Now, most people have suggested that one of the cows should be getting abducted, which is Daisy and Buttercup. But I really like them there. I think they look really good and sweet, and I don't know what they've done to deserve being abducted. So I'm going to have one of my many, many, many farmers abducted instead. Because I've got loads of those. So what is going to be doing the abducting? Well, this great big saucer. You may have seen this before. I know a lot of you suggested it. It's one of the first sets I bought when I got back into Lego, just because I thought it was absolutely fantastic. So that is 7052 UFO Abduction from 2011, which is an Alien Conquest set, as you will probably recognise. And it's a really, really good flying saucer. I mean, it's a fantastic size. Originally, it comes with only one pilot, and I've just adapted it a little so I can fit two in. So I've got the pilot there on the left and the trooper on the right. I've also adapted it so when we open it up, there's a gun rack in there. So they've both got one of their big sort of phaser guns kind of ready for use for when they land. And maybe there's space in there for the third one, who's actually flattening the crops right now, but that goes down like that. And then we've actually got a couple of play features actually. Now the first is this button here, which actually activates a light brick that you can kind of see in there, and it projects down. So if I just press it now, you'll see on this table that it's actually very cleverly doing an X, for X marks this spot. And that's exactly where it's going to be targeting with its ray sort of tractor beam for picking up people. And if there was an unsuspecting young man just sitting around, the crosshairs might be on him, and then the second play feature comes into effect where it can basically go down and grab him. Oh my god, he's gone! He's been abducted. And that's because on the underside there's these wonderful flexible pieces that are incredibly good at grabbing a minifigure. So that is really good, and you know, it does it very well each time. So anyway, so we've got the flying saucer. Now I need to mount that right above here and give it a good bit of height to add something on this very bare patch of wall. So some people commented on that, but I'm going to have it hopefully about here. And I'm going to do that by using a lot of these 1x2x5 transparent bricks to support the weight, rather than hanging it from the ceiling or attaching it to the wall. And then, as I said, I will have a farmer being beamed up. So I'm going to use this guy, who is the Series 15 farmer. And he's got his pitchfork in his hand, and he'll be on a stack of these as well. So he is in the process of being beamed up for abduction, and goodness knows what they'll do to him once they've abducted him. They'll either add a probe into his body, just like is in the Fables, or South Park I think did a really good one where Cartman got a probe inserted into him and then returned, or maybe we'll never see him again. So I don't know if there's a story there. Maybe you can suggest one. Right, so I need to kind of balance this quite heavy flying saucer over our wonderful farm scene, and then get this guy underneath that. Whew, wish me luck. And there are the aliens and their wonderful UFO above Far Corner Farm. And I think that's pretty fun scene, actually. Obviously, we've got the farmer, Series 15 guy, almost dropped his pitchfork, but he's getting beamed up. And these transparent bricks do get in the way a little bit of the scenes, but I think it's worth it. Not too bad. I suppose it's only really the column that is in front of the combine harvester that is in a bad position. But yeah, tell me what you think. I think it's adding a good amount of colour and height to the whole scene. Bearing in mind we're going to have a lot of height over the fairground. We didn't want this too flat though. Yeah, I think it looks good. It's a very good fun scene, and also it ties in with the other alien ships I've got, like the mothership. If we go all the way over there, right up in that corner. That's one of the very first things I did with an extra gun on it. And there's even an alien wrestling fan at the wrestling match, so that's good as well. So it all ties in with all of that. Yeah, so anyway, the farm now is absolutely packed and stacked. I think you'll agree. I mean, arguably it's too full now. I'm not sure. It might look really, really busy just because there's nothing at all next to it, either in the front or on the side. But when it sort of becomes part of a very built-up area, it might look less busy by contrast. But I do like things packed and stacked, like I said. I was saying to someone in the comments section I should really do a packed and stacked t-shirt, really. But then again, I guess people probably wouldn't buy it. But anyway, but I really do like this farm. It's one of the best things I've done for a while, I think. I really like it, or at least enjoyable things anyway. I mean, it's very different from something like GBC, which was the last big thing we did, of course, which was very mechanical. This is all just sort of laid out and looking very pretty, really, with lots of animal pieces, which are always popular. Aliens, tractors, and all the rest of it. But I think it's come out rather well. I think you'll agree. Now, for the wider plans, I am going to use this area. There are lots of suggestions about things involving this produce for sale over here, and maybe a farmer's market. And in a way, this is the sort of big entry path into the rest of the farmer's land, which is where the fairground is going to be temporarily residing, because it will be a travelling fairground. So I figured that this whole area that we won't be able to get underneath to put mechanical bits in could be kind of more stall orientated, and probably have a full farmer's market along this side of the shared fence. So I'll probably do that as a result of a different video rather than try and cram it into this one and do a bad job, because all of this has taken quite a while. But I think it's looking really good. So we added the vehicle of the week, which was the transporter, over here. Again, realistically, that's 2 vehicles. And we also added another vehicle into the corner, being the Harvest of Fear harvester, which works. Not that we'll be able to tell that now that it's completely hidden in the corner and even obscured, but I do think it will become more visible when the curtain's not there. We've added loads of bits and bobs all around the place. We've added those 2 tanks, those 5 trees with what do we say, plums in them. We've named quite a few animals. I think we've fixed the crop circle issue. I think that looks really good. I think it's a really funny scene, actually. Yeah, very good. We've raised this a bit. We've added a tree, moved a few things around, added some more detail there with the logs, of course. Moved the cat, add the vet's bag. And then most importantly, of course, we've got the farmer being abducted by the aliens, and goodness knows what they're going to do with him. So, as always, do tell me what you think. Give me any suggestions for improvements or things maybe I've forgotten or done wrong. And I look forward to reading them. So here is the completed Far Corner Farm. The probably oldest bit of Brick Nottingham, if that old commercial is to be believed. But I think we've done a really good job. I just love the fact that we've got yellow, blue, red, green all over the place. So it's so bright and vibrant. And with the few things now silhouetted against the wall as well, just gives it real life and makes you want to get closer and have a good look around. And we've even got some of my favourite scenes for a while, being the chicken one and the alien one. Oh, and probably the vet one actually as well. So yeah, I think it's gone really well. So as always, thank you very much for watching. It is appreciated. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. And if you value this channel, there are many ways in which you can support it. Do check out the links in the description below. And next time on Robin Hood Bricks, I think we'll be, well, going back to the city for another city update, but probably doing the police station modular. I'm partway through building that now. The question is whether it'll be finished in time. If not, I'll do something else. We do have a bit of a problem with the postal service at the moment, which is why the police station has taken so long to get here, but also for other brick hauls and things like that, though I do have a few to last me for now. I just need a few vital parts for all sorts of projects. But anyway, until then, see you!